Hello, everybody. I wanted to drop in and share about a current process that I'm in. I had a session yesterday with a mentor, which was great. And one of the things we talked about was me desiring to shift out of the schedule that I'm currently in. So, for those of you that don't know, I've been navigating chronic fatigue and some health issues for a couple of years solid now. It's been longer than that, but the slowdown of my schedule has been a solid couple of years. And so I expressed this desire for the shift. And he was like, well, you have to change your actions. And I'm like, yeah, well, okay, I know that. So after that conversation, something didn't quite sit well with me. And so I was just kind of letting it simmer in the background. And right before I went to sleep, I started having a download. So in the meeting, the intuition, he told me to ask my intuition. What my intuition was saying might be a potential solution to help shift. And the intuition I received was to set the intention and work towards going to bed earlier at night. That my bedtime is the starting point of this cycle for me. And so if I can make a shift at the start of the cycle, then the cycle itself will shift. And so I acknowledged, yes, I need to stop eating later because I'm sleeping so late. My eating schedule is off. Stop working so late at night and start going to bed a little earlier. And so yesterday, the day played out how it did. I finished my work about midnight, which is it's a bit later than I normally do. But I really needed to get in some hours for this one client, and it felt really good and aligned for me to do that. So I felt very positive about it. I fully accepted it. And I really celebrate that I did not get on my phone and doom scroll as a form of relaxation afterwards, which has been my pattern lately. Instead, I put on something educational on YouTube, and I did my red light sauna, and then I took my salt bath and went straight to bed. But I still did not get to bed till after 2 a.m. So this morning, I woke up. I initially had set my alarm for like 11:30, I think, and then I set another one for 12:30. Well, the first alarm went off. I got up, went to the bathroom, and then went right back to bed. The second one I turned off right away. I really felt exhausted, more than usual. And I was like, I need more sleep. I've got to go back to sleep. There's really no choice in this. And so I did. And today I did not wake up till almost 2:30 p.m. So this gives you guys a little bit of a window into what I'm navigating. So last night when I was falling asleep, I started having this download. And I'm trying to fall asleep. And I asked myself, I said, okay, thank you, higher self, for this download. Can we please put a pin in it? I'm going to press the pause button and it'll be available for me when I wake up in the morning. I need to shut my brain off right now and go to sleep. And so I did. I fell asleep shortly after. And so when I woke up today, some of that language started to come back to me. What I heard so clearly, this was a message from my higher guidance. Everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. Stop trying to control your experience. It is your belief that something is other than what it should be that is contributing to your experience of suffering. Now, what's also the paradox of that is we are also human beings with an evolutionary journey. We are meant to receive inspiration. We are meant to feel aligned and take aligned action and bring about change. We are in a constant flux of change. Nothing ever stays the same. It's not supposed to. And so, here's the wisdom for me that was coming through, and I'm going to try to articulate this. Receive the inspiration for change. Receive the intuition for what you want to do and what you want to accomplish and what you would like to see changed, what pattern you want to change. For me, specifically in this moment, I set some very clear intentions that I wanted to shift my schedule, that I wanted to heal my circadian rhythm, and that I wanted to be able to be more productive, more in my service, and that I wanted to know the impact of my service. These were the intentions that came forward in my session yesterday. And what was coming in from this download is that the suffering has permission to come in when you perceive yourself as not being in your service now with whatever is. And then, as being in your service, do you then perceive that failure and success are separate? They are not. They are entangled. They are all one. They are not disconnected. So what you are perceiving to be failure and what you are perceiving to be success is one entire process that is unfolding to lead you to your eventual outcome. It is what we've learned to call self-sabotage that is really just not ready yet. Did you hear that? What we are calling self-sabotage is really, you've received the inspiration, but you're not yet ready for it. You're in a process. We're receiving that inspiration, but not being at a place where we are yet ready to follow through with all of the action from that inspiration yet. Because it's an unfolding process. It's an unfolding journey. So when we perceive that we're in the beginning of a process, or in the middle, or close to the end of a process, and we're not yet seeing the outcome that we desire or we want, our learned behavior is to then believe that we are outside of our own value. We are outside of our own service. We are doing something wrong. And that is emphatically not correct. We are always doing that which we are meant to be doing in the moment. If we are in a failure loop, we are meant to be in that failure loop. The soul has decided that the learning gained from this experience is so important that it wants to experience it, and it is overriding your ego's desire to be out of that process. And the paradox also is what JJ teaches. If you don't know who JJ is, JJ's Activations with JJ's, you can look her up on YouTube, where we can end any soul contract that we become aware of when we desire to step out of it. And that's where new action would come in to replace old action, to shift into a new pattern. because everything's a pattern. Everything is sacred geometry. The greater intelligence of the universe, what we call source, what we call God, what we call Holy Spirit, what we call the divine blueprint, divine wisdom, divine consciousness, Christ consciousness, it's all a blueprint of sacred geometry playing itself out from the beginning of source, extending out exponentially, never ending, never, always growing, always expanding. And so what came in so clearly from my higher self, for me, Jen, if you do to the best of your ability in that moment, you are taking action, even if it's not the full action that you think it should be, but you've received the inspiration, you've set your intention, and you are creating action towards that intention, even if it's minuscule, then you absolutely are already in your full service. You're already in your full impact. It's impossible for you to not be in your full service and in your full impact in that moment. And it is you surrendering to that, giving up the ego's need to control the unfolding of the process, the unfolding of the progress, judging the progress according to a bunch of arbitrary metrics that aren't even fully expressive of the human journey anyway. They're a box within a box within a box, right? And so I have decided to fully embrace and enjoy, to suck the marrow out of life. In my experience of my schedule right now, as fucked up as it feels like it is, going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at 2 p.m., not my preference, not my preference. And how about I breathe into it, enjoy it, collapse the resistance to it, while I continue to do the very best I can to make progress for the intention I've set for myself, which is try not to eat so late, don't work so late, give myself ample amount of time to unwind after I'm done working, and get to bed earlier a little bit each night to the best of my ability. And then if I relapse, it's okay. I have a fresh start the next day. This is how change is initiated and made. It's not the flipping of a switch and going from one extreme to the other. It's tiny little steps towards what we want to create. And we are exponentially supported when we stop bullying ourselves into believing that we're not in our service, we're not in alignment, we're not in the highest timeline, or we're out of favor with God, or all that fucking language that insinuates that there is something wrong. That perception is the source of our suffering, not the actual pattern itself. We are always in our highest timeline, even if we're not in the highest timeline. Actually, we're in the timeline we're supposed to be in, or in Christian language, we're not out of alignment with God. We're not separated from God, even if it feels like it, because we are conditioned to punish ourselves. When life is not happening according to our own vision of what we think it should be, God is not dealing with us in reward and punishment. That is not how Source works. We are being asked to mature out of that frame of reference, life is always in a state of flux. We are never meant to stay at one level of frequency only and remain in that level of frequency. We are evolutionary beings. We are learning. We are on a trajectory and a path of self-discovery and self-awareness and self-expansion that requires us to move like waves in and out of different frequencies. Let's stop terrorizing ourselves with all of these false patriarchal metrics about what success is. That it's numbers, it's likes, it's subscribers, it's the people. The more people, the better. The more money, the better. That's not what impact is. That is not fucking impact. That is not how Source sees impact. That is leaving out the divine feminine aspect of this equation. It's completely leaving it out, which includes magic and grace and mercy and playfulness and childlikeness and having fun. In addition to setting goals and making commitments and following through and focusing and having clarity and being decisive and having a system of awareness to track our growth. We need it all in balance with one another. And it is actually this divine feminine principle of this equation that causes us to be burnt out, that causes us to actually not enjoy life. Our society is stuck with its remote on the fast forward button, fast forwarding through life at the pace of life that is set for us by this matrix, and it is killing us. It is not healthy. It is not normal. It is not sustainable. It is damaging the planet. It is damaging the people, and it is damaging all the life on the planet. We've got to shift, guys. We've got to shift. We got to hit the pause button. We have to slow down and remember what it feels like to be a child of God, what it feels like to be Source, a fractal of Source that chose to have a human experience. It's not judging your perception of good or bad, right or wrong. It wants all the experience. It values all the experience for learning and expansion.